fuck is up, party people? My name is Mystery, and welcome back to another episode of the FBL Podcast. And once again, I am not joined by my co-host because, you can't commit to anything. But I am joined with two other people that have, one has been on the podcast and one has never been on the podcast. So, returning guest, Jake, Jamicki, Tough Luck VGC, whatever you want to call him, he's back.
Hey, it's a rough week, so we can write off that right now.
That's true. It is no more Jamicki this week. It is true. With picking up his first loss of the season, you hate to see it. But then we are also joined by Skylar. Say hello.
Hello. First time. Let's go.
Thank you for joining us. We'd love to see, the people that don't normally kind of like reach out to this sort of thing, reach out. That's awesome. So, let's talk about it. Because, Skylar, you are fourth right now. Jake, you're still in first because Ant picked up his first loss as well.
By a miracle, I guess. Like, somehow Slink beats me and he's not even, like, the top 6 playoff teams yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's only a little bit out of playoffs right now.
He'll make it back up there, but, like... I mean, Sonison's going to fall down, but
that's what I was thinking. Like, if anybody's going to fall, it'll probably be him. Tristan's still in 5th, and then Monster picked up a big dub versus, it was Ant. And,
it was Ant. And now he has me. So I realistically could take back-to-back losses here, so...
We'll see. But yeah, we could start with Ace, because this set was pretty fun. I actually was able to catch this one live. And,
started with the heater.
Bro.
Oh, this is the Rufflet.
It was the Rufflet game. This is the Rufflet series. How the fuck can Rufflet put in so much work? This is like why VGC is an unformat. I'm like, if Rufflet is putting in the finest, bro, like there's something wrong here. I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But like, yeah, that was funny.
Hey, Rufflet can put in work in singles. That's the second hardest hitting Brave Bird in the game.
Is it really?
What?
Yeah.
How strong
because
is
it's the hustle.
Rufflet? Oh.
Hustle.
I didn't know. Okay, I didn't even know he got hustled. So that's why
it's
so
decent
strong.
in this. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Because Dynamax moves can't miss, but you still get the hustle boost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I know like Tristan's Drake is old so good. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, this first game definitely was not the most entertaining of all of them. I really love the game 3 because that is when the Rufflet completely popped off.
Let's go.
But this, Ace got dumpstered game 1, didn't it? This was like a 4-0.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, because Vine last year and
didn't even fucking matter, just dropped, even with the Rindo. Draco doesn't kill a Venusaur, and then Eruption finishes the job. And the Duosion's in, but he deserves.
Yeah, but it's not.
How did he not kill the? Oh no, he was
okay.
5-0. I thought he
Yeah. Okay.
But still, overall, not a great showing. But you know what? It is a great showing is our merch. Make sure you go check this out. Link is down below. Make sure you give yourself a T-shirt, a hoodie, beanies. I know are in the works, or at least Nick said they were going to be at some point. So make sure you check that all out.
I definitely get a beanie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I would love to have. I live in Wisconsin, bro. It gets cold like 7 months of the year. So we, I'm trying to get this sweatshirt and this beanie and trying to rep.
Telling me I'm right next to you. I'm in Minnesota.
True. Yeah. So we live in the cold states.
Yes.
So Duosion lead. I don't know. Ace's team is so weird to me. Also, Boltund being the first Pokemon he put on this team is funny. Crits through the Dynamax, almost killed. Not almost, but does a fuckload. Rock falls into Zard. I think does 80.
Yeah.
So still a lot. Duosion almost kills, but Sandstorm boost lets him live. Good max guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, yeah.
And he's able to take out the track. I'm like, that's pretty huge. This takes Sand, and then Venusaur's back in. And it's like, oh fuck, here we go again. Does almost kill him with the max Mindstorm. And bro, honestly, this Duosion put in the finest. I won't lie. He really did.
Yeah, it was kind of the unsung hero of this. Everyone focuses on the Rufflet, but Duosion was here for all 3 games?
Yeah, pretty sure. And it was why were Duosion and Rufflet his 2 best Pokemon? I really hate that.
Oh yeah, here comes the tech. After in 3 turns. Never mind. I'm getting hyped up too early.
Yo, Duosion's back. Let's go. And then he maxes the Lilligant.
I thought this was a wrap at this point.
I was like, oh fuck, wait a minute. Because then he brings Swampert again. I just was shocked.
Yeah. I don't know what Bird was doing here, especially in the back. But this is why it was here.
That is really cool. That's super, super cool. So, that's why he did it, and that makes a ton of sense. So, good shit, Ace. That's great prep.
Where was this against me?
Right?
Huh? Where?
But yeah, Ace picks up game 2 victory, and I'm like, okay, it's a series at this point. You know, I'm thinking like this should be at least a fun game 3. I had no idea what was in store.
we were all not ready.
No one was ready. He just let it. He said, Johnny, it's your time. All right. How did this? It was lead Terrakion. How did Rufflet win?
There's a Rufflet and a Delusion here.
Yeah, Delusion, like not fully evolved.
This was his Terrakion counter. Max Airstreams does so much. What the fuck? That's just neutral. Like that wasn't even like close combat. No. And then Max fighting gets the attack boost. I'm like, wait a minute. What is happening? Lands a thunder.
Crit.
Thunder crit, dude.
Dude, this is where I was like, I'm losing my fucking mind. This is not real life. Need to like go back in. And I was thinking, I'm like, I think Ace has got this because if he kills the Azumarill, no, he just goes for the fucking rock fall.
I forgot this got rock coverage too.
Dude, Rufflet put in the absolute finest. I'm like, and then I was thinking in my head, I'm like, is it Zard in the back? And no, it's Venusaur. And I was like, wait a minute. So he's just, Psychic into Brave Bird? Or no, Aerial Ace, that's what it was.
He might have that both.
That's true. He could have been fighting, like, Superpower, Rock Slide, Brave Bird.
Yeah.
Aerial Ace, that's definitely possible. But Life Orb Rufflet just picked up. Did it get all 4 kills?
I
think so.
No, I think the Thunder
killed the Torkoal. Thunder I think did get it did. So it got 3 of the kills. Absolutely insane. What a fucking goat. So
what a way to bounce back.
Right. Coming down from back 0-1 and then to win with in that fashion is definitely pretty inspiring on Ace's part for sure. And
then having the Duosion put in work too as well.
And then it's like, you know what, this Duosion's putting in too much work. I gotta downgrade to a Solosis.
What the fuck is this? No, the Duosion was great.
I mean, I understand the Durant pickup because it just does what we kind of saw with Rufflet, but extremely better because it's also a Hustlemon.
I disagree because Rufflet is right there. Why do you need 2? Actually, you know what? You have both of them, so you can't lose. It's time.
But, I mean, Scizor wasn't doing much for Ace, unfortunately, but Durant's a solid pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And next to Follow Me, it can be really annoying because you can just direct the fire attacks away.
All right, and then next up we have... Actually, we'll save that game. That's a pretty solid one. We can keep that around. Skylar, we'll go to your game versus the Albuquerque, Arbox, and Scott. So, going into this, what were you thinking?
So... For me, the main concern was obviously the Regiweezing combo.
Yeah.
Because that shit's scary no matter what. So my lead was actually going to be Dusclops Meowstic. Because it kind of beats the Weezing Regi combo. Because I can get a Trick Room up no matter what. And then in the Trick Room I can burn the Regigigas. But that never happened.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Tyranitar covers the what the fuck is it called? It covers the Spectrier pretty well.
Yeah, but he leads Starmie Togetic, which is like, I don't know, interesting.
I don't think he's ever led that too, which confused me.
Yeah, it's like I can at least understand it because D-Max Starmie has a decent matchup. I mean, getting Trick Room obviously bones it, especially in front of a T-Tar. But I mean, when you have Follow Me though, it's not that worrying.
Oh, that's right, your weakness policy, Tyranitar.
I mean, we'll get to it eventually, but I was really surprised not to see Mudshot on Spectrier because it's like you see the T-Tar coming.
Right,
yeah. I definitely looked that up.
Yeah. I wouldn't... We'll see later on in the set. It's just like I thought Scott had it. I'm like, okay, where's Mudshot? Where's the Max Quake? Or when are we going for it? And then I saw Dark Pulse, and I was like, okay.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And then
shocking.
actually, the funny thing is that because I did the bulldoze here, the Starmie goes before the Stoutland. And I was like, crap, my own Trick Room, fuck me.
Nice. Oh, and then you faked out in terrain. Did you just forget it was up because of the rain?
Yeah. Scott loves Life Dew.
No, that move's great. What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure it gets Heal Pulse, but he always runs Life Dew over it.
Oh. The only time I ever seen Life Dew used was in Dynamax raids. And what, was it Togetic that had it? Oh no, it was Togepi, I think. People would get that and just spam Life Dew the whole time. It was great.
Well, it's like his week 1 was against Sonison, and I realized that was actually a really cool tech because Chansey can give some people some issues, but if you just life do, you just negate all the seismic toss damage. So as long as you can just sit there, you're fine.
Yeah. Also, that's why I love people that don't forfeit, like Skylar. I think it's awesome you did forfeit there, because you figure out that the Wheezing Shucka, so you can at least keep that in mind for later. Like, there's always information you can pick up.
That's 100% why I did that, the bulldoze there, to be like, okay, the Weezings are generally Shucka or Focus Sash, and that's really important for my like strategy against the Weezing to know.
So, yeah, I think that's a great job not forfeiting and just continue to play through it. Then we go to game 2. You know, obviously must win. This time he leads Grimmsnarl Spectre, and you lead the same thing as before. This is just weird. Like, he just brought like random leads almost. I don't know. It was
Scott really. I've noticed this in the last couple weeks. He really likes to rotate his cores. Because in this game he brought every single mod on his team twice. He just kind of had like a revolving door policy where there's Grim Spectre as a combo, Wheezing Regigigas is the obvious combo. We saw a Togetic plus Starmie's a decent combo. And he just kind of likes to rotate it around to at least not fall into the same strategy every game, I guess. But again, I don't know why you would openly go for this strategy if you don't have Mudshot.
Yeah, the no Mudshot was definitely. I looked at it beforehand and I was like, oof.
Yeah.
That could be a problem.
This is like the one Pokemon that you run Mudshot for. Like the only thing that it's ever good for, and he didn't bring it. That seems like an oversight. He does have the Wheezing Regigigas in the back.
I was wondering if he had Protector or not in the Gigas because he had to go for it there, to avoid the fake out. But I guess not. Otherwise, theoretically, I think Scott could have won there if he had Protect.
Yeah.
Yeah, given what I did.
And then you finish it out with a clean...
Didn't T-Tar had 8 kills this match?
Yeah, T-Tar put in work.
Yeah, T-Tar skyrocketed up the leaderboard.
And then Game 3, obviously super pivotal. This is, it's basically like Game 7 NBA Finals. You love to see it. This time he leads...
what's going to happen?
Togetic Spectre here. Like, what the fuck? I was here for this game. This is the only one I was here for. I'm pretty sure I was at work, and I saw what was going on, so I joined it. And then you just had the double swap right away. But yeah, I mean, once you found out this thing wasn't Mudshot, you pretty much just walled it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every time I see the Spectre come out, I was like, I'm just double switching.
Yeah, I just think that's bad prep on Scott's part. Because if he has it here, he probably wins.
Oh, it's over.
Especially because he goes, or you go after the Togetic. So yeah, if it's Mudshot, then yeah, that's tough on Scott's part. I think this was super winnable. He could have won this 2-0, and instead he gets reversed, and that's pretty much the game. Because this does 23.
23.
Nothing else is gonna hit T-Tar at all.
He just can't hit it hard enough. Starmie drops, and then you just finish it off.
That wasn't even with the weakness policy.
Yeah, no, Tyranitar just put in the finest without it. He did not give a fuck.
I was like, dang, that killed.
So yeah, super, super big win. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was excited for that.
Okay. So we talked about this transaction for Smith on the week, I believe it was the week 6 pod, and we were like, I'm not really sure what Virizion does for the team. Well, we need to eat our crow on that one. I'm so sorry to Virizion. All right, I have never seen this Pokemon do anything worth a shit.
You're welcome for that. I'm the one that told Smith to pick this up.
This is kind of insane.
I told Smith to pick this up, and then I was like, oh, this just kind of demolishes Shoops. Because if you noticed later on that the safety goggles Dragapult, you better know that's my tech.
I thought that was.
I saw that and I was like,
Yeah, that seemed. Shoops or not Shoops. Smith is a decent battler from singles at least. So I was like, I'm not gonna put it past him, but I'm like, I feel like maybe he got help from Will, so it was from you. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, we've been in DMs back and forth most of the season. I helped him with both rounds of transactions that he's gone through. But one of the things is that, obviously he was 0-6 going into this, 0-5.
0-6, I think, right? It would.
Actually, it was 0-5.
Oh,
This is week 6
5.
now.
Yeah, okay.
So it was 0-5. And he was just like, what am I doing wrong? And it's like, well, you're in a weird case because clearly, like, your prep's pretty good. It's just you're not finishing games, I guess, because, like, again, I think the last 2 weeks coming into this, he had, like, won game 1 and then lost the next 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At least with my general success, it comes from building, like, dedicated leads that can kind of take on multiple different modes that my opponent can do. And it's, like, looking at Shoops, is that he just kind of gets beat down by immediate setup offense as long as you don't let them set Trick Room. Yeah. And, well, when his Trick Room setter is a P2 and you've got a fighting type that can go to +4 attack, yeah, you're probably fine.
Or, a Zapdos Skylar in the back. Even if you just
that too.
he could just click CC.
P2's just going down at that point.
Yeah, Zapdos is his own Zapdos is the only way to deal with Zapdos Galar, because also Intimidate for fucking Defiant, it's just, this matchup sucked, 100% for sure.
I don't remember the full discussion, but it was just like, Zapdos is maybe the one thing that can stop Virizion, because it doesn't get Stone Edge, it gets Rock Slide, I think.
No, it gets Stone Edge.
Or it's the other way around, it gets Stone Edge, it doesn't get Rock Slide.
Yeah.
Because we were worried about, like, something else. But, like, through calcs, because I can't remember that this is, we said Life Orb, because, like, we just have to make sure we get the kill unless it's this, like, defensive Zapdos. Because we were thinking about, like, Koba or AV to live Zapdos, but ultimately the best decision was just outright kill it.
And I was not a huge fan of the Protect and Alchemy there. I feel like you have to go out.
Really random protects. That seems like a very free Dazzling Gleam plus, like, Wisp or just Fire move. You gotta double target the Virizion and just accept that one mon's dying.
Yeah, there's nothing you could do about it. But Virizion, just put in the absolute finest.
There's the Sportech.
Yup.
I feel like Shoops at that point was just pissed off. He's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" the one thing I feel like I got right, and then no safety goggles. Yep. So that's tough.
Well, that's the double thing. It's not more so for being put to sleep. It's so you don't get the beat up redirected to Amoonguss.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, because Rage Powder. That's okay. Very, very smart. All right, cool.
Oh wait.
But Virizion, man. What were we gonna say?
I'm still learning stuff that I can do. Because now I'm like, oh wait, I have a Butterfree.
See, like, watching these VGC games, alright, it at least makes me care about it, because I've never been into doubles at all. I'm just not a huge fan of it, but at least these games are cool to where I have to, like, pay attention and, like, learn stuff, so that's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool mechanics you can showcase, and this is what I really like to draw for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, coming from not doing VGC at all.
Sonus and Tristan's not played yet.
Yeah, when's this game happening? Because it's Wednesday already.
It's extended to a date I don't know.
I thought it was today. All right.
Might be. I'm not sure.
Well, it's already pretty late, especially for Tristan. So.
Anywho, I'm assuming since this is going to be posted after Sonison plays, I don't see how Sonison gets around Urshifu, other than, like, Follow Me, but then, like, the 3 electric types. This just looks like one of the freest wins for Tristan. At least matchup-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he had good matchup on Shoops, and then he dropped game 1, so I won't put anything past him.
I mean, Tristan's got a game 3 with, like, everyone besides me.
and
that's not a joke.
And he was very close to beating you in game 1 of that one, too, so that's where it's
totally. If he ally switched on the Scarf Lapras, then that was totally winnable, but I figured that, like, you don't expect Scarf Lapras.
No, and I'm not blaming him for that at all. That's not his fault, it's... Yeah, Scarf Lapras is just cool. So then is the only game left, is it oh no, it's, okay, Monster and Ant. We will do that one first. In a intense game, 3-game series, you absolutely love to see it. So Jake, going into this, what did you see? Like, who did you think had the advantage and all that?
So what was funny is that we were supposed to mock, and I think we just got busy that we weren't able to. I was going to bring the exact same 6 that Monster brought here, except it was a little different. I had Ice Shard and the Weakness Policy Garchomp. The big thing that's the issue for Monster is how the fuck he gets around Tapu Fini, because his answer basically is either, like, Freeze Dry Articuno, getting the Weakness Policy on Garchomp to get +2 to at least do some damage, or obviously Regieleki. And I kind of expected this to be an offensive Regieleki. Kingdra goes in for Monster in this matchup as long as he can get Fini out of here, because while it does get, like, Clear Smog for max ooze, it does, like, 20%. So a well-played Fini can just absolutely destroy Monster. I wasn't really sure what else was really needed for this matchup, because you can, like, direct rain. I don't know if Volcarona is the greatest in this matchup, just because the main offensive threats is kind of beat down Volcarona. That you may
Is
get
Volcarona like a thing really in VGC, or is it just because Ant wanted it and it's his?
Oh no,
Pokemon?
it's solid. It's got its place as a faster rage powder. It's got string shot for speed control. It's got wisp. It's got struggle bug. So it's more of a debuffer than anything. You don't really see offensive much. We may see it once or twice. I'm surprised I haven't seen it thus far. Telepathy. It wasn't telepathy. This is because of weakness policy. Mm-hmm. But no, everything on Ant's team is good besides the EB. But obviously that's a 1-point mon or 2 or whatever. But Scary Face, really good tech. The last 2 weeks, I think Ant has gone without my help because we've been mocking most of the season. And we'll talk about my mocks with him later when we get to the Slink matchup. But yeah, for this one, I thought Ant brought mostly good stuff. I don't know if I would go full weakness policy on Feeney, but obviously, if you get around the Escavalier, Feeney just goes in. Mm-hmm. So I definitely was, even as we saw the game 1, it's a 4-0 beatdown.
Yeah. And
Scary Face doing the work.
The fact that Monster comes back, obviously spoiler, but Monster comes back to win this, after getting, like you said, 4-0 beat down, pretty bad in the first game. I think that shows a lot, Mm-hmm. That's what I love about 3-game series in VGC too, is like you're not out of it after game 1. You can really use game 1 to learn a lot about your opponent's team and then go from there. Yeah. So I love that a lot.
I feel like there's been a lot of like one person winning the first game and then it flipping to the other 2 people.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know why he maxed here. I'm assuming Ant just forgot that like Regieleki can be Dynamax offensive.
Yeah, he just said, "Oh."
I can't blame him because that literally happened to me like 2 weeks ago in ABDL. But yeah, you can't exactly sleep on Dynamax Regieleki.
Yeah, but definitely was not Ant's best showing here because, like, I don't know, the Regieleki put in some good work, and then Articuno, like, I felt like he did so much damage to everybody, and then it was pretty much already over. Thunderous is at 1, and then the Volcarona's in the back.
Last one's Volk.
Which, by the way, just still OHKO'd with fucking Heat Wave. I'm not shocked, but, like, damn, okay. And then was it Rock Slide? I think it was.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
And then that does it back.
So.
Close. Usually, I don't know, me personally, if I see a dominant week, or, not week, game 1, and then you win super, super close in game 2, and it's 1-1, I feel like the person who won game 1 is going to win that. But Monster finds a way to, if I could click on this fucking link, to win game 3.
I'm trying to remember how Ant adjusted in this, or I guess lack thereof.
What was the point of the Morgrim here?
Usually it screens fake out. Okay. Morgrim does everything that Grimmsnarl does, just without like the offensive capabilities.
Okay.
It's so because like both are prankster mons. It's just you have slightly worse bulk.
I was gonna say it's probably not by a lot, but okay.
No. It just loses a little bit of the versatility, but even then, just with prankster stuff, it's a very solid support mon. And for 3 points, it's a pretty damn good deal.
But once again, it felt like he did not bring a whole lot for the Regieleki.
Yeah, and it's hard to commit to like Dynamax Crook versus like Rain plus Articuno too.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. I feel like Regieleki would be really. How many points is Regieleki in this? I'm sorry for cutting you off, Skylar. If you don't mind me like asking.
It's like 17 or 8. It was one of the more pricey mons.
Yeah, because I feel like with Dynamax, like you get the hard normal move, and that's at least decent for you. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And it at least gets like flying coverage to hit grasses.
Oh yeah, with what bounce? Yeah, that's
bounce and acrobatics. But yeah, you just have to rely on Hyper Beam max strikes to take out grounds.
Gotcha.
But
yeah, I was gonna say that. Does he have?
He didn't even bring Feeney. He didn't even bring Feeney game 3. That's partially bad. Because now he just loses to Rain. Yeah, I don't agree with this adjustment because you see the 4 that he brought and it's just like demolished by Kingdra.
I'm sure. Oh, and then Ant got upset about like him calking. He was just making sure like he won the game, and I don't know. I think
I wasn't there live. I think it took a second, and it was just I have a ground type versus Kingdra and Rain.
I was in this game, but I was like doing things, so I can't for sure. I want to say it was less than like 90 seconds. It was probably closer to a minute than 90 seconds.
Yeah. I think I was focusing on it, and it wasn't like anything out of the ordinary.
It wasn't like a Theo turn, where he takes 45 minutes to click Earthquake on a Heatran or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't anything crazy like that. So I think Ant was just a little upset that he, kind of blew the lead, and it's understandable. I get it, but let's maybe not attack people in the chat, for little to no reason.
I'll just say with being new to VGC, always calcing things like. It's a little bit different because you might use Picolytics or like a different calking thing, so it's harder to put everything and make sure this actually kills.
Yeah, he just trying to be safe. He's pulling off an upset over the 5-0 team. I don't see anything wrong with that personally, but
you don't want to choke that away.
Yeah. And then Jake, we only got one game left, so I know you did not like this matchup at all versus.
Yeah, so I didn't think too much of this until this week. It didn't help that I'm going to draw on a little bit. I didn't build this team until the day of. This has been a rough week at work. My boss got COVID.
Oh no!
So I've been he's fine. He's going to come back later in the week, but that was a fun scare. So yeah, I was very strapped in time for this. Shout out to Ant for at least mocking me and fucking destroying me in mocks right before I played this match.
Nice. I have to ask, did he bring the Noivern Sunny Day shit or
no? No, he did not. I was really trying to make sure my team was anti-Trick Room because while I still felt like he probably wasn't going to rely, or they weren't going to rely on it, that if I don't respect it, I just kind of get fucked over. I had a slight feeling that Vileplume might come, but I didn't really fully even recognize Sleep Powder until it was right in front of my face. When I saw Noivern plus Vileplume, I was just like, oh, this is probably going to Dynamax Noivern, Max Flare my Celesteela, and then go for Sleep Powder. I didn't expect the hard Sunny Day. But I have to make that fun call of which Mon do I Dynamax, which Mon do I preserve to get around Sleep Powder, and every single time Slink prioritized Cinderace, which, fun fact, didn't even have a fire move for this match.
Really? That's interesting. Yeah. Wow.
So I can go decently in depth with this. My main mode that I was trying to go for to take on the Indeedee hat lead was I would U-turn on the Indeedee if it's like not bulky, I just Oko it or I hit Sash. Celesteela goes for Steel Roller to get rid of terrain.
Oh, okay.
And then I bring in Iron Ball Lapras, which underspeeds Hatterene by 1 point, and I can get the screen up. The problem is this Lapras does jack shit when there's no Trick Room.
Yeah. See, I guess that's definitely, if you're not Trick Room, then it's fucking pointless. I can see that.
And it's an annoying 50-50 to make of whether or not I commit to like making sure Slink doesn't do Trick Room, because it's so easy to get Trick Room up with just Indeedee Hat. That they didn't go for it every single game. It was kind of surprising, but obviously it worked out pretty well besides game 2. But yeah, once is like I spent a decent amount of time like worried about Rotom, because that's a decent check to Lapras plus Celesteela. Obviously I have a Raichu, but I'm like kind of forced to bring it to even deal with that. I'll get into how I think I could have played game 3 better, because I definitely felt like I super choked that turn 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought you had a shot to win that game, so that was.
I went down the wrong rabbit hole from turn 1, and I was fucked.
I will say I'm happy that Slink didn't just commit to because he does lead the same thing in game 2, and I think a lot of that's maybe one criticism I have is people see like something work in VGC and they just continue to bring it, because like for Smith obviously there was no switch in to beat up Verzion. Like I think we all agree on that. It was horrible matchup. That I understand, because you're just ending the game. Like there's nothing you could do. But like some people in VGC, it seems like they're just bringing the same. Like they see something work, it's like, okay, let me just bring it again. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that. I feel like you're kind of limiting yourself a little bit.
I mean, if you win game 1, you're kind of safe into that, because you can kind of see how your opponent adjusts, and then you've got that to scout out what their counterplay is, and then game 3 you can change it up. I do though agree somewhat that like if you just try to surprise them with a different lead game 2 as they try to adjust to your game 1 lead, you can really catch them. But yeah, so with this game, it's just like, okay, I assume Slink's probably going to play it the same, not expecting me to just Dynamax Cinder or Celesteela. I get lucky with the turn 1 wake, but
definitely, yeah.
Cinderace I don't think was doing much this match from what I remember. But
and then the reverse of Trick Room, he went Tailwind. Yeah. That was interesting.
Tailwind. I saw that, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I kind of auto without like trying to like flex too much, because it was a 4-0. But Yeah, 1% on that. Thank God I doubled up with Hydro Pump.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm like, this probably doesn't kill. I didn't check the roll, but
you actually get to see the Pasho berry there,
Yeah,
too.
that was
that was good insight, because you're definitely worrying about weakness policy, and I get to see the berry. So this also kind of is like, okay, well, my normal lead doesn't fully work, because I spec this out that Steel Roller Oko's max HP hat.
Okay.
But yeah, Cinderace was High Jump Kick, Sucker Punch, U-Turn, Iron Head, Max Dark to get the -1 special defense, so I could also like kill fairies with Flash Cannon, make a Marowak a little bit weaker to Airstream, yada yada. Okay, so this game. So starting off, I guess you can pause on turn 1.
Sure.
So my thinking here is, well, Slink hasn't brought Sash the entire season on Indeedee, and if they don't have Sash, I can get the Max Darkness off. They're most likely going to target my Celesteela. Then I can just go from here with Cinderace and probably do a lot of work. What I failed to consider was that even if this was not Sash and I kill the Indeedee, is that Vileplume comes out, puts my Cinderace to sleep, and I'm just kind of boned.
Yeah.
Because with the Max Flare from Marowak, so Slink had their bases covered. What I should have done here was commit to a Goodra Dynamax endgame. So I don't fully know if I was supposed to sack Celesteela or Lapras here, but I let them go. I U-turn on the Indeedee, and then I can get Cinderace back in to... Oh, no, okay, yeah, I was supposed to sack Lapras so I could Steel Roller with Celesteela, so that I could start Sucker Punching the Marowak.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Because Goodra, I still don't know what the last mon was. If it was Hat, then that could have been problematic, but I did have a Sludge Bomb on this, but yeah, letting Goodra take that damage is just like, this is a loss. So I really misplayed game 3. I don't know if I would have won had I done what I think I should have done, but I definitely would have been in a better position. Mm-hmm. The Muddy Water roll into Dragon Pulse roll was I think a high Muddy Water into a low Dragon Pulse, so basically that was like a 50-50 to kill.
Okay.
So that was partially unlucky, but I don't think Goodra would have ended this up. Well, I still had Lapras. But I mean, I can't say anything on that roll.
And then why'd you protect on the Lapras?
I forgot after you.
Oh, okay.
I just completely forgot Vileplume was running that.
At that moment, I was like, oh, that feels bad. Like
I was banking on maybe targeting the Lapras as like the choke. But again, even if I double up on the Marowak, I assume that had a grass move.
What does it get? A Solar Beam?
Well, it probably could have just been Energy Ball, or it could get drained and been fine.
Oh, okay.
I had some both, but it was more offensive.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, no, I really mishandled game 3, but
and then he was wide lens Vileplume. How do you feel about that? Is that like
it was wide lens?
Yeah, so he didn't miss the sleep powder.
Wide lens is 1.1 if you do first, so with 75 it was about a little over 80%. So.
All right. I mean, whatever works. I'll take
it.
Yeah,
I mean, shout out.
Yeah, Sash was I
can't complain.
80, so.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like there's no point to bring safety goggles to this match.
I'm very glad Slink did not roll over and die and just
yeah.
Also, you had only lost one game all season until this, and it was versus Smith of all people, which is
it was the very first game of the season, and then I was on like a 10-game win streak.
Yeah, and Slink pulls off the upset. That's a big win. Keeps his I said, keeps the season alive. He's 3-3. He's definitely not out of it by any means. So, not bad. And then was there any transactions at the deadline for VGC? I don't think so, but
I don't think there were.
Or was it just the Ace one?
It was just Ace. It was just Ace.
Yeah, and we already talked about that. So.
Yeah. So I guess if we want to do like a mid-season review of how people have done thus far.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking just about that same thing. So we want to go from bottom up, or do we want to go from top down? It's up to you.
We can go bottom up.
All right.
Since we just talked about me.
Shoops. So how we feeling?
Well, I mean, we talked about how Monster choked away the very first game of the season, and from there, Shoops has just kind of been dead in the water. The Alcremie meme is kind of worn off. I mean, it's still 12-9, but it hasn't gotten a lot of kills lately. And obviously, there's been some definite beatdowns that Shoops has been involved with. Shoops is at the mercy of the fact that he doesn't really have great immediate offense, and the team's pretty slow. So if they have like a fast setup option through weakness policies, or obviously the beat up strats, if Slink doesn't get Trick Room off, it's just really fucking boned. And that's kind of unfortunate.
Kind of stuck in one mode of just Trick Room.
And there's not a lot of versatility to be had, at least like the main board. Like Incineroar Amoonguss is some damn good glue. Like you could not ask for like better glue, but there definitely could be some better options on this team. I've said it like 10 times before. Toxapex is just a point sink, even if it's only like 6 points. It just does absolutely nothing. And as we saw, it hasn't even been brought to a game yet.
It's so weird to hear Toxapex and 6 points in the same sentence. It's just, that's crazy.
It's an awful mod of the format.
It's
serves
so
what are you
passive.
gonna do? Regen? You gonna switch out?
So it suffers from Amphat syndrome. So all my friends are dead. Is that it's so passive that in singles, the big thing is it's toxic and it just sits there and wears it down. Well, in VGC, when there's 6 turn games, toxic doesn't do much, and since it has no offensive presence, you can just kind of ignore it. So you can just do a 2v1 the entire series.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Has he even brought it yet? No,
nope,
he has not.
Nope. So it definite point sink.
It doesn't get any supportive moves at all.
No, you can Baneful Bunker and then maybe have like a Ghost with Hex, but obviously it doesn't have that. I think I don't even know if it gets Wide Guard or not. Maybe, but it legitimately does nothing. You maybe have to run like an offensive Merciless set to do anything. Like Dynamax might be something as like a booster next to something that can't boost its special attack, but at that point, would you use Dynamax?
I was my only. I was about to ask you if maybe he could do that with like Zapdos, but I don't know.
It's an out there strat. I'll give it that, but I think a lot of success for Shoops, it could be through P2. P2 is one of the best mons. I think it gets a bump in draft. Dynamax P2 is something that's really cool. I was mocking Ant with this team, and before we changed it to the team that just kind of plowed through Shoops with Crocodile, I was beating Ant with Dynamax P2 because you have to respect the Trick Room lead, but then also it's that Dynamax P2 is bulky, it lowers speed with max strike, it's got coverage. It's pretty powerful after a download boost. Okay. It's a really good mod, so I feel like if Shoops is a little bit more diversified in the sets as opposed to just dedicated Trick Room speed swap every week, theoretically there's a bounce back that could be had. Looking at the remaining schedule,
not great.
Not great. It's you realistically have to win every single game. So probably not happening, but
I think
it's
at best
not
he finishes
impossible.
4 and 7. I think that's absolute best.
That's fair.
Yeah, 3 of those games. Yeah.
Yeah, if he pulls off a win versus Ace, which I don't think is impossible. Gironda, I think he can win that, and then one of you, Skylar and Scott. That's definitely tough. I would say realistic. 3 and 8. I think that makes sense. Maybe 2 and 9, something like that.
Yeah, I think he picks up one more win, but we need to see a little bit more than what we've seen.
Also, I want to say Smith is not in last anymore, Pog.
Yeah, finally.
But Gironda is actually up next, which I kind of am surprised about. I don't know. I thought he would with the. You remember you telling me about the After You Eruption Torkoal? I thought that was going to do stuff. It has not really. At all.
One thing, at least with other teams playing Gironda, they've done really well of putting damage on the Torkoal because Gironda has run Eruption every week, and then it turn 1 takes 50%, so it's not as powerful.
Great.
But yeah, I don't want to again put myself in the front run here, but I have helped Gironda most weeks. That weakness policy Tarak that beat down Scott, that was me. Versus Sonison, I helped with that team as well. I did not help him versus Ace, and we saw that one. But he's learning. Definitely, there are a couple more steps he needs to take before really relevant in the playoff race. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard to diversify when you have just kind of unga bunga sun offense. You're really feel inclined to just use the team as is. So that's the thing. We haven't really seen Gironda take the next step to really diversify how the team is used.
Yeah. Okay. And then, of course, my boy Smith, he's next. Look, now with the Verzion, I think he's got a shot to at least. I know it's probably a flash in the pan if that won't work every week, but it's at least something people have to be fucking terrified about because that's really cool.
Yeah. as a 1-5 team, it is a much easier route to playoffs than Shoops does. We talked about how.
If he beats Slink,
Smith had a gauntlet to start the season.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
He really did. Wow, he played. I would say like four of the best coaches in here. You, Ant, Skylar, and Tristan, and then also Sonason. Shoops, no. Shoops, I love you, but no. Now he goes against Slink, who I think is like a pretty good battler, but obviously VGC isn't like his forte. But he beat you, so definitely not a given. But if somehow he can beat Slink, Monsters can be a really tough one after. The last three are winnable, though. Who knows?
At least looking at the start, unless if he can really use Dragapult to take on like Hattering, I just kind of see also Slake's Trick Room option just really doing well against Smith. So if he also has Follow Me Clefairy though, so it's gonna be the battle of the Follow Me Mons. But that matchup is winnable.
Would you be shocked if I told you at the end of the season Smith finished 5-6?
No.
No? Okay.
That's where I kind of felt he was going to be at the beginning. I was expecting Smith to be a 5-6, 6-5 team. So when he started 0-5, I was like, damn, because he obviously he was 1-2 in every game besides Ant. So it's not like he was being pushed over.
He never got rolled, and I think the Ant game it was relatively close. I think it was a 2 and a 3.
I think game 2 Ant just kind of steamrolled the Salamence, but game 1 I believe was close. But it's like Smith was one of the most unfortunate 0-5 teams because every game he could have theoretically
kinda
won the set.
The Chris of doubles where he started 0-3 and every game was close. The Taylor one it was an 0-5, but it felt way closer than that, and it's just you can't catch a fucking break. So no, I get that. Okay, I hope he turns it around.
It's still hilarious to me that Clefairy is 0-12 in 16 games. That's kind of expected because it's not like he's going to be picking up kills anytime. But that's such a funny stat line.
It really is. He's got more deaths than most single seasons have in terms of games. That's fantastic. And then next up, I believe it is Ace. So we already kind of talked about that one, bro. The Rufflet and now Duosion's gone, bro. Get the Duosion back. How do we cancel this transaction? It's Rufflet Duosion hours. I'm telling you.
Ace wanted to for a second, but it's just I'll keep it. Because Ace wanted to keep Duosion for a second. I think he talked in Mod Chat or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But,
wow.
Thus far for Ace, I think generally kind of disappointing season. He was one of the other coaches that had at least some form of VGC experience going in. I talked about it after the draft, is that I didn't think his team was really built that much for success. And it really was predicated on his creativity. And we definitely saw that this week against Duranda, that when Ace can be creative, he's a force to be reckoned with. Whether or not he can kind of hold that momentum for the rest of the season, because we were in the same position after he beat Skylar, because that was a very demanding victory, and then just dropped 2 games back to back. Granted, against 2 of the top 3, but
well, I also want to say his next 3 are not crazy. It would not shock me if he wins these next 3 of Shoops, Sonason, Smith. I wouldn't be shocked. So 5-4, and then just maybe if you can beat Slink, that might get you in. So yeah, he's definitely not out of the running for sure.
Totally.
Am I wrong in saying his top 9, and I'm saying that Durant instead of Rufflet, obviously. This kind of looks like a singles team a little bit. Am I
a little? Oh, easy. We Will talked about it in the draft podcast that Ace is one of the best single teams he's ever seen.
Yeah, wait a minute.
That's great. That's really great. Thank you, Will. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And then after that, it is Scott. So I think this is another disappointing one, to be honest.
Yeah. I think this is kind of characteristic of just the team, is that you look at the very beginning, it's a very, very scary team. But then when Scott kind of relies on the same cores and combos, is that teams will pay attention and figure it out. Also, it helps when you don't bring Mudshot to a team with a T-Tar. But there's been a couple upsets. There's been some tough opponents. Again, it's a winnable schedule. These next 2 weeks are really going to potentially continue the slide if everything's as per usual. So maybe Scott continues to slide out of the playoff race. But
if he pulls one of those games, let's say he beats Tristan and then loses close to Ant, and then wins his last 3. He's another one I wouldn't be shocked to see 5-6 or 6-5 as well. So, we'll see. There could be a lot of those type of teams, man. It's going to be interesting.
They all got potential to move like anywhere.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how the schedule kind of worked out because a lot of the top teams, I think, still have to play each other.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the bottom teams are around like the mid, only have to play each other. So there's a lot of upward movement that could be happening and a lot of stagnation by the top.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a wide open playoff race, despite. Like,
I really think the only person truly out of it is Shoops, and then probably Geronda. But like Smith up, I think like these all have a shot to be playoff teams. So, next up would be Slink, my boy. He pulls off the big upset versus Jake to keep his season alive because he loses that one and it's looking tough because his schedule isn't crazy hard to end it, but it's like 2 and 4 and you still have to play Tristan and Scott and like just not like gimme games, and you had 3 straight weeks of getting 2-0'd in all of them. So
I mean, you look at that stretch of 4 games. We have, I guess, right now the top 4 coaches, and the only win you come out of that's against the number 1.
Right.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, those first 3 games is just like, oh gosh, Slink is falling down, but they brought their A game versus me. So if they can continue to do that, maybe it's finally time for the rise back into playoff contention.
Yeah.
I mean, 3-3 after the top 4 is not bad at all.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, Slink should be in the mix, and I'll probably draw them like round in semifinals and get bodied again. So we'll see.
The Mickey Mouse run is over. You love to see. I'm joking. But Sonoson, this is not one I expected to be here. I'm just gonna be dead ass. I didn't think
this is definitely a context one because look at the 3 wins. It's versus the bottom 3. So
that's fair. Yeah. Man, I wish Smith got
they were all 2-1s and they were all close margins.
And then he got his shit rocked versus you, and then it was actually pretty close versus Scott, but definitely not encouraging. But his next 5 weeks, his just closing schedule is fucking rough. Holy shit!
It's like, at least for me, the biggest weakness on this team is dealing with bulky waters. I mean, I showed that with Wishy Washy. We'll probably see that with Urshifu here against Tristan. Ant has a top of Feeny. Ace's water is what? Swampert. Swampert could be an issue in this. I mean, Gideon Cresselia. Monster has rain, so that's free.
Shuckle gets spikes, right?
No.
Fuck. I was telling him he should start double, fuck the hose. We're putting up all the hazards, but
VGC hazards.
Skylar, you've got Fish, which there's a melodic and a crest. It's annoying, but doable.
I got a Gastron as well.
Oh, you got Gastro. Oh, Dynamax Gastro might be the play for this one.
Hey.
And then Slink's got Rotom Wash, which that just beats Melodic. So, not looking.
I totally see what you mean. 100%. His waters look a little rough for him, bro. Chansey's right here, though. I'm telling you, this is the Mon. All right, he's coming with rocks every single week.
That's the thing is I'm one of like the few Chansey truthers in like the VGC draft leagues because I've won a championship with it. It's a very good support Mon because at least like where Pex is very passive, it doesn't also do anything to support its teammates. Chansey can just sit there, minimize, heal pulse, ally switch. Like it can be really annoying.
Yeah.
I in that season I used it. I definitely made like 2 people rage quit when all they had to do is continue to attack. But VGC players have no patience. So
game's not over in 4 turns already leaving.
Yeah. It's like go back to singles with them. It's like I'm sorry you can't click this move for 10 more turns.
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah, what you got?
Well, I've not really seen any like evasion minimizing strats at all. Is that as not popular as much nowadays, or just?
It's not popular because Dynamax moves don't miss.
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
So that's the thing is if this is at least one of the teams where this can work because you can slow play Dynamaxes with proper switches and you have the bulk to get around that. That theoretically a late game Chansey could be good, but it might be a little too involved for what Sonoson's kind of going for.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. And then Tristan, my other boy, is up next. How are we feeling? Because I do kind of help him build. He usually just is like, yo, I need to build, and I'm like, all right, it's time. And I just I'm kind of just there.
Really all over the place. I mean, there's some. It's not even like set wise. It's game wise. Is that there's some games where he just gets walloped, and then other games like in the same set will come back and play really well and have these really cool techs.
Well, that's what I've been saying for fucking like a year now. Is Tristan is like the worst early game player I've watched in my life, but now it's weird because all these games are 6 turns, so now he has to be like, all right, well now I just have to take over for a game. I can't be bad in the beginning, and then there's other games he is just bad in the beginning, and that's the whole game. So it's like, I don't know. It is very weird to watch Tristan games, and
yeah. So I think thus. Let's see if I regret this. I would move him out of, I guess, finals favorite, maybe even out of the top 4.
I don't think you're off on that. I mean, I think he's still a playoff team.
I think he's definitely still like our definitive 5th, but it's there's definitely some inconsistencies.
Look, if it comes down to it, right? If you hold a gun to my head and tell me to pick between him and Tristan, or beat him and Monster, excuse me, I'm gonna pick him. 1, obviously because he's my friend, but 2, I think he could like. I think he's a better battler, and maybe it doesn't matter as much in doubles, but like. To me, that matters. Like, who is just truly a better battler than the other person? Because that can matchup is a thing, but there is a point in time where it's like, all right, who's just the better? In sports a lot, it's who's the better team, and that can just be who wins the series sometimes. So I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of mind games to be had in this. I mean, obviously with Mindless Slink, that there's so many different 50-50s and just what you can bring.
Yeah.
That if you can mitigate that, you can get a lot of success, and I think. Partially with Tristan's non-success is just kind of walking into unfortunate leads, I guess. Again, that's where like I draw a lot of my successes, is trying to make sure you can start with momentum and then never let go. And I at least see a common theme with people is they'll bring sets like in singles where these sets do really good across the team, but they don't really build like a turn 1 game plan to take on a lot of what your opponent can also do gimmick-wise. So if Tristan, I guess, gets a better grasp of that, this theoretically could be very dangerous come postseason.
I think he's at the point of now being a dark horse, where it's like, would you pick him to win it all? Absolutely not. But like, if you told me he made finals, I wouldn't also be shocked.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I definitely think he's the. If you're a betting man, I think you stay away, because like if the over under on him is the 6 seed, I'd shoot myself, because I'm like, I have no idea what I'm picking here. Like, yeah. We'll see. I think he'll be a playoff team, and maybe he wins a round or 2. We'll see for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And then next up we have Skylar. So what do you want to tell us about your team and just your season as a whole?
I mean, I'm a blame Ally Switch on those 2 games I lost. No, I'm joking. But I mean, I gotta play it. Like, I think what Jake said in the PR or something. I have like 2 team. Well, I had 2 of like the top, the 2 of the bottom, or the 2 of the middle. So for me, it was very much like, oh, I'm still working, making sure that I'm still prepping and all that stuff. And like, Monster's a scary matchup because it's rain against, I guess, sand. But I do have Gastrodon. And then, I don't know, I think that I probably will dip down a little bit, maybe like not finish 100% great, but I still think it would be okay.
I think 7-4 makes sense. Like, if I was betting, that's probably what I'd go with.
Yeah, I would lose towards Monster and Jake, and then I think...
Well, those are like the easy ones to call. Like, you probably lose to Jake just because, Jake's that, I mean, he's that guy, pal. Trust me, he's that guy. But, like, there's also, if you don't lose to Monster, there's, maybe a weird Sonison game, or, like, Geronda. Probably not. Yeah, I guess it makes sense to be. But maybe 8-3. Like, I definitely could see that as a possibility. If you can pull off the Monster win, that's not out of the realm of possibility either, so...
I think it's every expectation to finish at worst 7-4.
Yeah. So, and that's a really good season, especially because you've never played doubles, right?
I've never done doubles before.
Yeah,
I've watched like meme videos from, I think, Weedle Tweedle or something like that. Yeah. But besides that, no.
No, so that's really cool. That's a really solid season. And like, you're obviously a really good singles battler. You've always been towards the top of like D2 in terms of battlers. Like, it was like me, you, and Matt in season 8, and then it was me, you, Will, and James in season 9. Like, you're always towards the top of those. So, like I was saying before with battlers, like some people, skill just kind of pours through at the end of the day sometimes. So
yeah,
and I'll blush.
I'll say a little bit on this too, because I don't think I give the team enough credit in the initial draft rankings. Because when I put you worst team.
Yeah, worst team.
And then I mocked Anthony. I was just like, okay, there's some stuff you can do with this team. It requires a lot of like aggressive positioning sometimes just to play around the sand. But you've definitely been successful thus far. I don't fully agree with getting rid of Rotom because not having electric. So like your option to take on bulky waters is a little questionable. But
that was my first thought. I'm not even gonna lie. That literally was like, how does this team kill like Milotic? But
yeah,
we'll figure something out.
Yeah, so I'll fight against Monster, but
I don't. That's why I'm saying I'm like I don't know about that matchup.
Yeah, you know, now that you're saying it, yeah, that's a little tough, but
no, yeah, I've definitely been impressed this far. So
yeah, for universally, I don't think I had you last, but it was bottom 3.
Yeah,
I think you've definitely exceeded expectations of just based on team, and then like I said before, you're a talented battler, so I think you've at the very least got a shot to be a top 4 like finish this season. So
and on top of being a very good battler, you also have the bullshit known as Butterfree. So
true, and didn't that give Slink the hands? Wasn't
that like single-handedly destroyed Slink? We had our first 2-turn match.
Something crazy like that.
Imagine getting 2-turn. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I lost to the guy that got 2-turned Pepe hands.
Well,
great.
What was it? I've got to fight Dronda. Dronda lost to the Rooflon. And I'm like, am I gonna be the person who lost to the person who lost to the Rooflon? Or the Roofet, or whatever the fuck it's called again?
That's fucking hilarious. Oh my god.
Roughly, yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, moving on, we got Monster, who a lot of people like. I think Jamal, especially, he said this was the dark horse team to win it all in VGC. It was him and Ace, and I think it's just because they're his boys. But I think Monster's definitely shocked some people with how well he's played so far.
I mean, he's definitely the hottest team right now, and he finally has his statement win. Because at least looking at like the 4 games prior, they were all mid-tier coaches.
The best one was probably Slink.
Yeah, and that was just because the Cavalier got like 8 kills.
Yeah,
because Slink didn't bring like fire coverage outside a hat. So now that because there was at least some uncertainty whether or not Monster really should be top 3, but now after Ant, now he's at least number 1 in power rankings that I would write out right now, just because Ant and I are both coming off losses.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you both are coming off losses. So.
Monster's on a 5-game win streak. I got bodied by a team that's not even playoffs. So
yeah.
Unfortunately,
that's totally fair.
I'd put myself lower, but I think I have to put myself at 2 right now.
No, I definitely Monster, you, and that makes sense. Who would be your 4th? Is it Skylar?
Yeah, Skylar, and then Slink probably 5th.
Okay, very cool. But overall, I mean, the rain. I'm not a huge fan. This is just me personally, from the very little I know about VGC. So please, I'm going to say it once again in parentheses. I don't know much about VGC. Please don't take my opinion as anything worth a shit. I'm not a huge fan of weather in VGC because I feel like I'd rather just go Trick Room personally, but
so the thing with weather, at least I've noticed, because I've drafted it for a speed tour, is that it's much better in standard than it is in draft, especially with customizable Dynamax mons that can overwrite wet weather, prankster mons, etc., etc. It's a lot more manageable to stop weather in draft, because the thing is like Venu Cole in standard is one of the most tried and true cores that it's really hard to stop if you don't have a team like that has a really good anti-sun option. But obviously in draft, it's as draft goes, very easy to stop.
It feels like you could bring Dynamax moves now to just negate weather, like you were saying. Like I don't know. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but he's made it work so far. Not a ton of rain. Like he's only brought the Politoed. I guess it's been to 7 like actual battles played. It feels like it's been less than that though. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Well, I mean, the thing is the bulk of the success is coming through the mons, not on rain. I mean,
yeah, that's what I
was right. You look at the exactly.
I mean, Escath is pushed up a little bit because of the Slink matchup, but
still 11 kills though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I preach that with the draft PR is that if a weather team that also has an option to be successful outside of the weather that it has, it just makes that weather more threatening because it's still an option you have to respect. But then there's a whole other slew of things.
This feels like this should be Tristan's thing. That's what he preaches every time he drafts rain. Is like, oh, I'll just draft 4 rain Pokemon, so you have to respect it. But I'm going to draft a team outside of that, bro. Tristan, this is the one time you don't draft rain. Are you fucking kidding me?
And he hasn't even like really used the sand option either. Like he brought Gigalith, I think, for the first time versus me, and it didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's a little interesting, definitely. But yeah, shout out to Monster. I mean, he's got definitely a tough schedule coming up though, because he goes, and he hard fought upset win and then goes right to fucking Jake.
Do both the upset people have to play the other people, like the other top person right away? Because Slink has to play Ant next, right?
No, Slink already lost to Ant.
Yeah, I was gonna say Slink plays Smith. So,
yeah. Okay,
no.
Okay. I was like, wait.
Ant plays Sonison. Okay.
Yep.
Ant should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Feeney.
But yeah, he still plays Jake. Like I said, I'd expect him to lose that. I think it's close, but I think he loses that. Smith, I think, gives him a run for his money. He probably wins that. I think he beats Sonison. Tristan's a wild card. I have no idea what to expect here.
That'll be a fun match.
It's electric terrain versus rain, so that makes me feel like Tristan could do it, but who knows? And then Skylar, also, that's a fun one.
Grounds are pretty good versus Tristan, and Garchomp's one of the best. So
that's very true. Yep, you are correct.
If I can win with a Mudbray, I think Garchomp is just fine.
My guy Cutie. Yes, the Mudbray. We haven't even talked about that. The Mud. I'm going. You know what? Fuck, Jake. We're gonna skip ahead real quick. Oh, Mudbray. Look at my man. Look at him. He got 2 kills. All right. So no one disrespect this Pokemon again. He is great. All right. No hate.
Hey, I had to bring it and rely on a Mudbray against a team that had an Urshifu that could kill it at any moment. I did not play that right.
I love Mudbray. He's so cute. Look at him. It makes me so happy you got him and then actually used him and got kills. It legitimately made my day. Anyway, back to the list. We got Ant. I did not see this coming at all. I remember you saying, "Oh, we got to make sure we respect his top 3," and then Crocodile decided to get 16 kills.
I forgot how Unga Bunga Anger Point can be.
Yeah, that's a
definitely. There was a chat one time where we were talking about the Anger Point. I think you sent like a video of all the different Anger Point stuff, and I was just like, "Oh no."
Yeah,
I can see this going in.
It's if you don't have something that like outspeeds Crook or something that can, I guess, redirect the Frostless or whatever. If you let it set up, it's so god awful to stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very surprised Feeney is only 0-1 halfway through the season. Like
that's crazy.
Metagross has been non-existent. Thundurus, I mean, he's used it more supportive, but it's only come to like 3 matches anyways. Yeah, he just really likes relying on Salamence plus Crook.
See, what makes me feel like Ant is a prime candidate for regression is because it's so reliant on really 2 Pokemon, but like majority 1. Like it's been so much of Crocodile from everything I've watched. And that makes me feel like, at the very least, if he makes playoffs and he's not a bye, I could see him being like first round upset.
I mean, the flip side to that is that it shifts the focus to those mons, and then people again will forget those top 3. And if he can build a more successful mode that goes through that.
But do you trust Ant like in a situation like that to make those adjustments, or do you think he would just be like, "This has worked all season. I know I can stick with this and get wins"?
I mean, he's recognizing what does well, and it says something if those mons are consistently winning. Is that
true?
Sure, he's relying on the same strat, but it's not like people are really stopping it either.
Mm-hmm. Maybe doubles is different. I don't know. I consider playoffs a whole nother beast. Like people will bring out their finest tech to beat you, and especially in a best of 3. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe someone takes game 1 on him and he finds a way to bring back a 2-0 comeback. We'll just have to see.
A team like this that has so many different modes is that Ant can go into a matchup with 3 different approaches and just kind of see what their opponent does and go from there. So I'm not gonna. I can understand where Ant might regress, but I mean, there's been literally 0 reason to suggest that. Besides, I will say maybe a relatively easy start schedule.
Yeah, outside of Skylar, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, and I was not prepared for the Anger Point.
Yeah, you had to play in week 1, so you had no recognition as to what's coming. Yeah, all I'm saying is if we're looking at the standings right now, and I'm like, obviously, Jake, I think you'll be a top 2 seed. I think that's a pretty set in stone.
I hope so. God, I don't lose round 1.
I think Monster makes it. I think Skylar makes it. I'm still confident in Tristan. I don't know. I think Ant still makes playoffs just because he started so strong. But I wouldn't be shocked if he finishes 7-4. I feel like eventually it's going to catch up to him.
I mean, where are those 3 losses coming from, though? I mean, shorter me and Tristan maybe, but I don't see him really losing the other three.
Yeah, I guess I would pick you and Tristan, and then just random loss. I don't know, maybe Ace, and like he's desperate to make, because I don't know. This has been the thing with Ace the last 2 seasons. As soon as his back's against the wall, dude rattles off 4 straight wins to make playoffs.
That's fair. But I mean, yeah, I definitely think Tristan might have match at least just first glance, because like electric resist is only really Crook versus Coco's ult. Ace Rillaboom shouldn't do much because there's a Volcarona. Dragon, I think Anna has matchup on Ace.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I don't know if we come back here and there's a loss versus one of these two. I would definitely just say like, oh boy, this could get ugly real fast. So, I still think he finishes at worst.
I will say Reggie Gigas does look nice.
Okay.
I mean, there is a Mian show.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but we'll see. And then there's only one left. Good old Jakey. How you feeling?
I'm doing well. So this team, so at least with my brief VGC experience, I've definitely drafted more like hyper offensive teams. I haven't had a team generally this bulky. So it's been interesting with prep, because I feel like I only have like a couple mons I have to use to like go through offense, which was I think first showed its head as an issue versus Slink. Because I only had so many mons I could really offensively deal with Marowak or stop me Trick Room. I'm still confident. I'm starting to get into the point of where I'm going to say I'm not going to win playoffs, but that's just probably going to be considered 100% cap anyways. But,
well, so that was the one thing, if you don't mind me going real quick, and then I'll let you, talk about the rest of the team. That was the one thing that me and Theo talked about when we were going through the VGC teams. We really didn't spend a ton of time on it, but like we sat there and we're like, Cenarius is like really kind of feels like he has to be so much. And we're like, well, Dynamax, Gudra, and like a bunch of Dynamax options on the team probably make up for that. But like Cenarius is so much of this team's offense. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think, Lapras is very deceiving on how good it is, because it's such a trash singles mon.
Harris just picked that up. Don't disrespect.
I haven't really activated a lot of it this season, of just the weakest policy stuff I can do with Comfey into Gudra plus Lapras. We saw that with Wishy-Washy versus Sonison, but I think the team's generally fine. But yeah, I think I would have liked at least like one more dedicated breaker on the team. But I don't really know what I would change. Like I thought about maybe doing some transactions, but I think the team overall meshes very well.
No, it definitely makes sense together.
Yeah.
It was more like, look, it's Libra Cinderace, so it never truly has bad matchup. But like if there was just one team that it wasn't great versus, I was like, well, does he like maybe struggle to break things? And then we're like, probably not, because there's Celesteela and, like I said, Dynamax options. So
yeah,
right.
But yeah, that was just something to think about.
But
your closing schedule is not anything crazy. You do play Monster. If you can pick that up, I guess you do play Skylar and Anna. Actually,
I have 3 playoff matches for the rest of the season.
This is actually not a given. If you go 2 and 3 versus those, I think you'll be okay though, as like a top.
I don't see. I definitely am not missing playoffs at this point, but I don't have too much confidence that I'm going to win the whole shebang, because even with the games that I have played, just with my general playstyle, I don't usually like hold back a lot in the regular season. I was definitely like fearing a Smith rematch if that were to be the case. Now that the teams have changed enough, I can have a fresh approach to that. But like, I've showed some goofy stuff versus Tristan. Not sure what I'm going to do again if we play again.
Yeah, I don't think Scarf Lappers is going to get him again. So
obviously, I need to reevaluate versus Slank. We'll see what happens with Monster and Ant, and obviously Skylar. So I think this is way more open than people initially gave it credit for. So
it is also best of 3. So I really feel like, especially that's I don't know. It's a double-edged sword where on one end I think you give people that don't have like as much experience time to understand what's going on in a match, what the other person brought, and make adjustments. But I also don't really trust anyone in this league to go down 0-1 against you and then bring it back. It's a really tall ask. So I don't know. if you told me someone went up on you 1-0 in playoffs, then sure, I think they've got a shot. But if you go up 1-0, I don't think you lose that. So that's what I would say is why people think it's kind of a more closed case than anything. But hey, if you lose that game 1, then it gets real interesting real fast.
I mean, I will say I do have the nice boon of that, like, literally every single mod on my team is viable, and I have brought every single mod thus far.
Yes,
Yeah,
including the
Like a lot of
Mudbray.
teams are 8, 9.
yeah.
Love to see it. Bring this Mudbray again, though, because he put in the finest. You cannot deny. He really did.
I'm definitely evaluating every week if I can, but like, it's so hard to bring it versus just easy Dynamax water. I mean, it's like my next matchups: Rain, Sun, Dracovish.
No, he's good on Sun. No, just fuck him up. They're all fire types, and Heliolisk.
Yeah. Then I catch a fucking Venusaur.
Minor details.
Maybe I could do it versus Shoops.
Yes, let's go. If you ever do bring him, send me the paste, all right? Because I want to see him. I love him. All right. But yeah, do we want to just make some quick playoff predictions and then probably wrap it up?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll go first, just because we'll get the worst opinions out of the way and we'll move our way up. So I think the 2 buys I'm gonna say are Jake. And I'm gonna throw a wild card out there. I'm gonna say Skylar takes it. I'm not a huge believer in Ant. Like I said before, I think he'll just lose a few that it starts to catch up to him a little bit. Not that he's necessarily gonna fall off, but just it catches up a little bit. And then Monster, he did have that good win versus Ant, but I feel like Ant also could have won that 2-0, like relatively, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. Ant and Monster obviously follow that up. I think Tristan is a playoff team, and then I'm going to take my boy Slink, and that's the 6. And then my winner, I'll take Jake over Monster in the finals 2-1. Here we go. And then 1 of you 2 can go. I don't mind who goes.
Go ahead.
I guess since we're going, what did you say? Low to high opinion?
Oh, okay. I more meant
that.
like there's like the low is in the basement, and then you guys are in the penthouse. But all right,
Oh, okay. I was gonna say my opinion is definitely lower than Jake's. I think I would do probably Jake and Monster for the buys, and then probably because I could totally see Monster winning like a lot of the rest of his games. And he's already up there too.
Yeah.
And I could totally see Ant losing as well. So I would be like Jake and Monster, and then honestly, Ant, me, and Tristan definitely up there. And then the 6th one is probably a little bit of a,
It's
it could be
definitely a
kind of
toss-up.
going the other way. I'm gonna go with Smith. I think with those transactions, they could pull some like crazy stuff out.
If Smith finds a way into playoffs after starting 0-5, that'd be like the greatest comeback story. He actually made playoffs in NCL when he started 1-4. He made it all the way back to 5-6, and he made it because we did like 7 playoff spots, so he got the final spot. But it was still kind of insane that he made it all the way back.
He's already got the run in the belt. He can do it again.
Yeah.
And he's got with like the we haven't even seen the power of Porygon Z yet. Or
True.
Like that.
We need Gunna, my boy.
And I feel like as the season goes on, people learn things from VGC. So having a very late transaction that could kind of like move your team around and do a lot of extra things gives you that elements of surprise again.
Definitely. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go put him in there.
And then what's your quick finals prediction? Just to throw it out there, 'cause it's fun.
I'd probably go the same thing. Jake Monster, and then Jake beats Monster in like a 2-1.
Okay. All right, Jake, what you got?
I'm not going to differentiate too much. I do think it's probably going to be Monster as a 2nd seed. It's just looking at their remaining schedules. I think between Monster playing myself and Skylar probably goes 1-1 in that. Ant likely probably goes 1-1 as well. Actually, no, I'm going to keep Ant number 2. I think his remaining games are more winnable than Monster's, and plus he just has a better differential right now. So I think Ant just sneaks into the buys, which leaves Monster 3rd seed, Skylar 4th, Tristan 5th. I really want to drink that Smith Kool-Aid right now, but like
Yes.
Slink versus Smith is this week. So it really starts and ends right there. So if Smith loses that matchup, I think Slink almost is a dead ringer for 6 seed. Which then gives us a pretty interesting playoff series, because from there it would be Slink is 6th versus Monster is 3rd. I think Monster just wins that again handedly. Skylar Tristan.
A week 1 rematch. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Or was it week 2? Or it was early season. I know that.
It was week. What was it? Because Skylar played Ant week 1.
Yeah, I think it was week 2 then.
Yeah, it was week 2. Which Skylar won that one. Skylar probably brings it home again, so that would leave myself versus Skylar and Monster versus Ant.
Oh boy, that would be fun.
That's an interesting Final Four.
That'd be, yeah.
Well, as the best draft versus the worst draft, I have to win that myself.
Yeah,
and
wait a
then
minute.
we get the Ant Monster run back. I think Ant could pull that one out with some adjustments.
If it comes to that, I would agree with you.
Yeah, and then it's Ant myself in finals, and then I probably smoke Ant.
Yeah. And then we truly, bro. Jake. I'm letting you know right now. We have something in the works. We have a video that's a little Mickey celebration. If it comes to it,
I swear to God, if you took my emote and superimposed it over the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme song dance thing.
I can't tell you everything, all right? But it's real great. You will be upset, but you will laugh, so it's okay. All right?
I mean, if history repeats itself, I'm gonna fucking choke in the semifinals, anyways. So
That's
Yeah,
right.
wait a minute.
I'm not gonna win, or what do you always? I'm not winning.
I'm not winning.
There
Yeah.
you go. There you go. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. This was like a good hour and 15 or so. I honestly don't remember. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. Skylar, feel free to join back whenever we do another VGC episode.
No problem.
Jake, honestly, you know everything about Pokemon. Welcome back. I would like to do another VGC episode, because honestly, this was kind of fun. I get to learn a little bit as I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm technically hosting it, but as my former
Hell.
co-host, having you here is always nice too. So.
I still learn new shit from this format too. So
Yeah, wait. I literally learned something tonight.
Yeah.
With the redirecting of fucking the
Of Rage
beat up
Powder.
and Frost Slash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea Rage Powder is affected by safety goggles, so that's really cool.
Yep. And does not affect grass types.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
well, I learned more.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, don't try to redirect next to your Gastrodon and watch it die. So
Oh yeah. Oh no.
you're welcome.
Thank
I
you
think
very much.
I think that's
saved
gonna
you
end
from that
it here.
embarrassment.
Make sure you guys check out the merch once again. Like I said, please, supports us, supports the entire FBL. Nick retired, so we got to get him into the retirement home. We need money.
Gotta throw this to the 401k.
Getting the college fund ready. All right, man. It's fucking late for me. I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah,
Everybody,
have fun.
have a great night, and I will talk to you later. Peace.
I'm not winning.
Oh yeah, we'll see.